I love when coaches, consultants, and professional service providers want to do big things in their business. They want to rise to the top and influence their market and the world around them. They want to have a greater impact and make a more lucrative income. Well, if this is you, welcome to Expert in You podcast, the show where I interview other experts and coaches, consultants, so that they can share their success strategies with you. We're going to talk about marketing and how to close more sales, how to get more premium clients, and how to really build your visibility in the market and scale your business like a boss. If this is you, welcome to the show. I want to ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell right now so you don't miss one episode. Grab your coffee and buckle up because we are ready to give it all to you to help you become the expert and get paid as the expert that you are. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Expert in You podcast. I'm your host, Ann Carden, and I have to tell you, you are going to love my guest this week. I'm super excited to have her on with me. I have the great, the one and only Trish Carr. Trish, welcome to my show.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
I'm super excited. Trish and I kind of play in the same arena and different arenas. And so I thought it would be really fun to have her on. She is a genius at the business of speaking, and she helps people build speaking businesses. And she is also a speaker trainer. So I really felt like this is such a great fit for the show to have her on here because I don't teach speaking. She even does events where, do you still do events, Trish, where you will actually film people and get their speaker reels and things like that?
Yes, absolutely. We do. So I do everything I do through Women's Prosperity Network. We're a global community of amazing women who come together to build our businesses and our lives. And through Women's Prosperity Network, we do foundational business of speaking training, meaning it's one thing to speak. It's another thing to have a business where you get paid to speak.
Yes.
In addition to, of course, your products and your other services. But this is like a separate little funnel coming in. So we do a training on that. And then we also do an extensive training on all the things you need. We call that Yes Ready. So that when you get that phone call from that television executive and they say, I need you to come to the studio by noon because I have 5 minutes and I can put you on. Can you do it? And you can say, yes, I'm ready.
Yes, I'm ready. I love it. Well, Trish, I'm super excited to have you here. Why don't you just give us a little bit of backstory, how long you've been doing this? And you talked about the Women's Prosperity Network. You're the founder or co-founder?
I'm a co-founder with my two sisters, blood sisters.
Oh,
same mom, same dad, grew up in the same house. We still love each other to death.
It's a family affair.
It is wonderful. And when we first got started, so first thing we did was hire a coach because we know we don't know everything, right? So we hired a coach once we decided that we wanted to come together and create something different than your usual women's networking, right? And when I went to the coach, I was saying, well, we don't need to really play up that we're sisters. That's not a big deal. And he goes, what are you, nuts? He said,
I think it's great.
I know. He said, do you know how many women wish they had sisters like you or sisters? So from there, it's the truth. There's so many people who say I'm an only girl in an all boy family, or I'm in a man's world in my position, in my business. And people who I have sisters, but we don't live near each other and we're not close. And it's so wonderful I didn't realize that it was rare to have amazing relationship among my sisters. So we do everything together, co-founders, and we've been at Women's Prosperity Network. It'll be 16 years in February.
Wow, that is amazing. What a track record. What a track record. I think it's fantastic. I always envy. So my husband has always been employed and I've always been an entrepreneur for the most part, most of my career. And I have always envied like power couples and people that get to do things with family. I've always thought that is so amazing and what an awesome opportunity. And you can double your effort. You can double your success. So, yeah, you are fortunate to have that. I didn't know that about you, actually. Trish was on my summit, my Raise Your Bar summit, and she was so amazing. I knew I had to have her on my podcast as well. So I loved everything she talked about.
Thank you. And I have to tell you that I was an employee all the way up until like 1996. I worked for telecommunications companies, AT&T and the like. And I worked my way up through corporate. And the way I worked my way up was I was articulate in front of a crowd. I know that. I know that I was able to say what it is I meant, move people to take some kind of action. And that really made the difference for me. And I can tell you, it wasn't always like that. I mean, I can still remember the first time I stood up in front of the room. So the first time I worked at a call center of 100, mostly women, in their cubicles, right? And every Monday morning, we used to have a meeting half hour before we opened up the line for the flood of phone calls. And all I had to do was explain what we were going to do at our company picnic. I had to tell them we're going to have ribs and chicken and burgers, bring your kids. That's all I had to do. And we're going to play sack races and all that stuff. You would have thought I was going to the firing squad. I was so scared. Oh, really? Like I could feel my heart coming out. Like you see those commercials with Le Pew and his heart coming out like that.
Yeah, but you're dropping gold right here because now you have a whole business around this.
Absolutely.
Which is proof that there's skill sets that you can learn. So I love this. So go ahead, keep telling this story. This is awesome.
So it is about skill sets you can learn because what happened was as I'm waiting to be introduced for my 5 minutes about hamburgers and hot dogs, all I'm doing is in my head, I got to say this. I make sure I say that, got to do this, And I find that that's still true for so many speakers today. We're so here, we're not focused out there.
Yes.
And what happened for me was I somehow, when they called my name, my knees carried me to the front of the room. I don't know to this day how I made it. I said what I had to say, and I turned around, and everybody said, "Good job, Trish. Thanks, Trish. That was great, Trish." And I'm thinking, what did I say? I don't even know. It's kind of like when you're driving home, and
you had their mouth watering already.
I did. They were like, "I want to go to that thing." So, but you know what I said in that moment? I was so clammy, so uncomfortable, and I'm very fair, so I was red everywhere, right? And I said to myself at the end of that 5 minutes, that's never going to happen to me again. I am never going to feel like that again. And from that moment on, I sought out speaking engagements, speaking in front of the room, speaking in front of people. And
wow, it's like you stepped into your fear. Great job.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then when I became an entrepreneur in the early 2000s, I realized, wow, I can influence people to open up their wallets. They, it's not just influencing presidents of AT&T to sign off on billion-dollar projects. It's people saying, "Here, Trish, I want to work with you."
Yes.
So from there, it was just, I wanted to show other people that this was the way to do it. And when we started Women's Prosperity Network in 2008, I'd already been working. Actually, I was working with my sister's son. We were doing, my sister Nancy Matthews and I, she's the author of The One Philosophy. And she and I were doing real estate investment training for people because we were real estate investors. We used to buy houses and flip them and sell them and all that stuff. And we knew what everything was. And so, and there was a party in real estate before the big bubble. And so we were doing real estate and I was teaching Nancy how to speak because she wasn't able to speak. And she's like, "You taught me everything I know." And she became so good that we decided, this was in 2008 when we saw so many people losing their jobs. We wanted to do something to make a difference for so many women that I knew that two things. One, I had recently gotten divorced. And I knew too many women who said to me, "Wow, I wish I could leave, but I don't have the money." And I'm sitting there thinking, you poor thing, I can go. I can take care of myself. But so many, and I didn't have kids. So that was the other thing. The other thing was people were losing their jobs and they didn't know how at all they could take their talents and do something with it. So we wanted to show people, how do you monetize these talents? You are so brilliant. You've worked for so many years, and all of those talents and skills can translate into your own business. So that's where WPN was built. And we do sales, we do all of the training and consulting and mentoring and holding your hand so that you build the business that you want to build. You make those 6 figures you want to make, and then we get in touch with Ann, and she gets you to 7.
There you go.
Idea.
There you go. No, I love it. I built so many businesses, and they all started with speaking. And so it is such a skill set that when you master it, and you can learn how to sell through speaking as well, you will never be without money. You'll never be without a job. You'll know how to go build relationships. There's so many benefits that if people would just get over their fear, and they would realize this is probably one of the most valuable skill sets you can actually build. It's a game changer.
Absolutely. And one of my favorite quotes is from Warren Buffett, who is the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. He's a multi-billionaire with a
brilliant man. Yeah.
Brilliant man. And excuse me a second. The other thing I like about him is he's down to earth. He's real. He's not he gives money away, and he requires his children to actually work. They don't just have, the silver spoon in their mouth. So one of the things I actually heard him say in an interview was, he said, the easiest, fastest way to become, to get your net worth to 50% or more than it is now is to start speaking, to start learning those communication skills. You can increase your net worth by at least half just by learning how to communicate. So when somebody like that says that that's the key to the kingdom, that's the key.
Warren Buffett speaks, everyone listens.
I listen. Right? Yeah. So I always look at keys. So when I speak to people about speaking from a stage or speaking from online like this, oh my gosh, there are so many opportunities now, more than ever before. And there really are 3 keys that I share with people. Is it okay if I share those?
Absolutely. Yes. Go right ahead.
Well, and I love mnemonics, so I do it with a K, an E, and a Y.
Okay. I love that.
The K, that first letter is the foundation of everything, and it's keep them focused. Keep your audience focused, because how many times have you heard people speak and you're thinking, why are they even telling me this? And how does this connect to where I want to go? And let me get my Instagram and start answering these. So you want to keep them focused. And the way you keep them focused is by you being focused. And for me, once I learned that everything is a system, everything is how many rings before I answer the phone is my system. What I say when I answer the phone is a system. How I enter data is a system. How I give a talk to invite people to my business is a system.
Yes.
So the system that we created, we call it the speaker's profitizer, because so many people speak, Ann, but so few of them know how to do a call to action that doesn't sound like your Ronco or selling, not Ginsu knives or whatever it is they're selling.
Right.
So I use a formula, and the formula allows me to just kind of plug and play based on who the audience is, based on the topic of conversation, and based on what it is I'm going to be inviting them to join me at. I never use the word offer. I never say, I have an offer for you. It's like, why would I say that? That sounds like an infomercial.
Right.
It's an invitation. I invite you to take what we've learned here today and move it to the next level. Yeah. So how you do that with the formula is simple. It's not easy, but it is simple. And I can, let me give everybody the formula. You can get it. It's free. It's the Speaker's Profitizer, and all you have to do is go to speakingforfunandprofit.com.
And we will put that link in the show notes as well, so that they can download that. And I actually did download that when I had you on my summit.
It's the first step in understanding what you want to do. So keeping them focused with the right process. And I'll tell you, there are so many people, like I said, who speak. So, for example, there was a woman I work with still. Her name is Gladys, and she runs Heart's Desire International, which is a romance finding, I guess, business. She and her sister run this business, and their goal is that you find the love of your life or rekindle it, even if you're like waking up to somebody who was once the love of your life. You know what I mean?
Right.
So to rekindle that. And Gladys was speaking all over the country, but she just wasn't converting enough. In fact, the week before she came to the foundational business of speaking training, she'd flown from Miami to Los Angeles on her own dime, spoke to over 100 women, and left the stage. And everybody said, Gladys, that was great. You were so wonderful. Oh my gosh, I learned so much. And nobody bought anything.
Oh.
And Gladys was a great speaker. But what we found out when we worked together was that her package needed some work, and how she talked about her invitation to them was weak. So she created a whole new program in the training class that we were at. It was 3-day class at the time. She practiced just her clothes in front of the room. She sold over $1,000 on that package in the room that day, literally people giving her the credit card. Within that month on that same package, she sold $10,000. And that package has since become her gold package, and she's earned over $500,000 on that.
Oh, that's amazing. What a story.
So sometimes it's just, you think it's, oh, what am I saying wrong? It could simply be that your invitation to them isn't right. What the benefit isn't being articulated the right way. So if you keep them focused by having a plan, not only does it release your anxiety because now you're not in your head as much, but it also allows you to connect with your audience better. So get the Profitizer at Speaking for Fun and Profit. So the K is keep them focused.
Okay. And then what's the E?
E is engage and entertain.
Yes.
Engage. And I'll say that this is really a piggyback on keep them focused, because it's about you shifting your focus from inward to outward, from me to them. And part of the reason we get so scared when we're on stage is because we're so worried about, how do I look? Am I going to say the right thing? Do I have anything in my teeth?
What if I mess up?
Right. Is my makeup right? When really we should be looking at, oh, wow, look who's in the audience. Let me make sure I say something about this special person. And look who I met before that I could bring into my talk so that it becomes more connected.
Yeah.
So it's about really changing your focus to them. So before I do a talk, if I'm in person or online, I do my best to get there early, so I can meet the people, talk to the people. They don't even need to know I'm the speaker. In practice, I prefer that they don't know. And then I get to know people and learn people. So by the time I get to the stage, I feel like I'm surrounded by my friends.
That's great.
And then the other thing is, like I said, based on what they say to me, I bring that into my talk. So for example, I was speaking to a networking group in my county. That it's a government thing, and they called me in to speak at this networking group. And in that 15 minutes of coffee and donuts before, I found out that in the room was a gold medalist from the Olympics who was a sprinter. And everybody knew she was a sprinter, but they had no idea the depth of her talent. So I literally got on my phone. How far did she run? How long did it take? And I just edified the heck out of her. And I shared with them, you may think this is, she did 10,000 meters or something like that. I said, first of all, we don't even know what meters is here. Do you realize that she ran 3.5 miles? So it was that beginning and that opening changed everything for me and really brought me into the bosom of that group. So when you can change your focus and really engage people, and of course, entertaining means that you share stories and statistics and real.
So it doesn't mean you're dancing or.
Although it can mean you did. It can mean that the famous story, Nancy Matthews, my sister, is a visionary and she's always everywhere. And we're doing a conference and we're talking about who's going to be at the 3-day conference. And she goes, wait, I have the dancers coming. And I was like, what dancers? What are you talking about? Like every year I would think she's saying, and here come the stallions. Something good. But you've got to have your audience interested enough. So it's not about you lecturing. It's about you sharing information and facts. Like the easiest, best way is start bringing in some statistics about what it is you're talking about.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
That's great.
That is. So that's it. Engage and entertain. And then the last one is the why. And the why is the one that I hear from people the most. And that is I want to be me. It's you. You are what's important in this, is bringing the real you, not the you that you have to sound like Oprah Winfrey, or not the you that you have to be Michelle Obama when you speak, the you who you truly are. Because most people say to me, Trish, how can I be authentically myself? And I think it sometimes just comes down to not trusting ourselves, not trusting, we all have that recording in our head. We're not good enough. We're not good enough. I don't know where it comes from, but I think most humans have it. And when you have a way that you can practice, that you know is going to work, that you've used over and over again, and every success leads to the next success.
Right.
But when you have that and you know that you can connect with an audience, and that when you do that and you offer or propose that they take the next thing that will make a difference for them and why it will make a difference for them, it gets so easy to be able to have conversations like that. And I call everything a conversation.
Yes. And I love too that you're talking about even the real you, because if people are going to take a next step with you, which you're teaching people how to build business with speaking, right? So if they're going to take a next step, they're going to get to know you anyway. So just let them see who you are at the very beginning, because if they are not attracted to want to work with you, then you dodge the bullet, right? You're going to attract the right people. You're going to attract the people that will be your people. Exactly. And I think that's really important. So
and be yourself unabashedly. I mean, there are people who have big followings who I would never follow because they're just not my cup of tea.
Exactly.
But that's who they are. And they attract their people. I am me and I attract my people. So just be who you are, because everybody else is taken. I think Oscar Wilde said that. Be yourself. Everybody else is taken.
I love it.
Yeah.
This is great. And I love the framework that you gave. What would be, if you had to give one speaker tip? You gave some good things here, but what if you had to give one speaker tip that could impact somebody to want to buy, to sell? What would that be? Can you think of something that is one of the most powerful things?
Yeah, the most powerful thing is to make sure that in your conversation with your audience that you have reminded them of what's not working and of what they want instead. That's the most important thing. You can talk all day about a topic, but if it doesn't remind them that there's something not right, that they're a little uncomfortable, I mean, we want to do that because...
Right. Can you give an example of that?
Yeah. So, for example, if I'm in an audience of health conscious people, for example, and my business is helping you get slim, stay healthy, and I focus on you will have so much more energy once you lose some weight. You will have so much more focus in your brain when you get healthy. If I focus on those, I'm going to call them high conceptual results, there's not going to be a connection because they're not thinking, I want more energy, I want more focus. They're thinking, I want to fit in my skinny jeans.
Right.
I want to look great on New Year's Eve. I want to be able to get on the floor with my grandchildren or my children. So you've got to be totally clear on what are they saying to themselves in their head Not what do you think your product is going to do? What's the buzzwords? You have to think, what's the down and dirty of what they're saying to themselves?
Right.
And that has to be brought up in a way that doesn't confront them, but reminds them that they feel that way too.
Oh, I love that. Doesn't confront them, but reminds them.
Yes. And the best way to not confront is with, so on the one hand, it's with stories of people who are dealing with what they're dealing with. And then you bring in the statistic that says, you're not the only one dealing with this.
Right.
Millions of people have this. And so few take the opportunity to do something about it. Aren't you one of those people who does something about it? So, you bring in the left brain and the right brain together. It's the feelings, the emotions that bring people to you. And it's the logic that makes them say, yes, here's my credit card.
Yeah.
We do it all the time. Logic and emotion. We go shopping. We're looking in the store and we go, oh my gosh, look at that purse. I'm going to look so good in that purse. Let me try it on my arm and see how it looks. And then you go, and it's on sale, so I'm going to save money. So the emotion pulled you to it, but the logic of saving money makes you pull out your credit card.
Yes.
Same idea.
So good. So good. This has been so much fun. We could talk forever.
But thank you so much for having me. And thank you all for being a part of our conversation today. And know that no matter where you are, if you're one of those people where you get the phone call to be at the local TV studio and you're going, yeah, I want to do it. Yes, I'm there. Or you're going, oh my gosh, I don't think so. No matter what, the answer is always say yes and then figure out how.
Yes. Love it. Love it. Love it. This has been so amazing. Trish, thank you again for being here. We're going to put all of your links and everything in the show notes. People will be able to grab those, grab your free download, connect with Trish. She's on social media. You'll be able to find her. And you can see she's such a gem and she's so fun and such a kind person. So you will love connecting with her. So
thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. All right, everyone. Thank you again for being here for another episode. Make sure you subscribe to the show, like and share it, and make sure you share it with your friends because we bring value and great people, great experts just like Trish every single week. So you have an amazing day. And until next week, God bless you all. Bye-bye.
If you've enjoyed this episode, I want to invite you to go check out a free training that I have at expertinu.us. It is a training that I have on how you can get ultra premium dream clients, scale your business, get more freedom, and really simplify your business and multiply your money. So go check that out. And again, that is expertinu.us. I want to thank you for being here with me this week. I hope you found massive value. Please always leave a comment, feedback, or a question. We check them all. And I want you to go rock your business and make sure you join us again next week. God bless you. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.